Hello guys, welcome. I'm going to be showing you guys an Age History 2 tutorial today, how to play the game if you've never played it. First things first is you select your country, you choose the graphics, game speed, and difficulty. Of course, you should see that yourself. All the countries you play. Let's hop right into it. Playing Castile today. Oops. So, the first thing I'm going to be talking about is to click on your flag here. The first thing we're gonna is just a breakdown. It could be a little overwhelming if you first start the game, but you have your economy, shows your population, army, development, inflation, and all of this good stuff. I'm not gonna cover all, but if you see here, you could look at your ledger here. Shows the amount of provinces everybody has, of course, and then we have here population. The Ottomans have the most population, and economy here too as well. If you want to look at that. And then conquered provinces and stuff. So alright, first thing we're going to be covering here is the taxes. Taxes is very important. It's literally the revenue you get from the people, right? And you spend it on everything in this game. It just roots to your taxes. So if you put taxes up to this line here, you probably should always do it. But what you really want to look at is happiness. Try to put your taxes as high as the happiness allows it. So that'll be like right about here. That's the most efficient. Because if you go above, you could risk rebels later on, which I think is not that worth doing. Just deal with them, so you just have the happiness at the verge of it. First thing you could use your budget spending on from this revenue you get is goods. I would recommend just keeping it somewhere decent. Goods is increases your population over time. Research, I'm not gonna touch that. I'll talk about that later. Talk about that. So investments is the second important thing, I think. From research, and investments is the second. This is probably the most important thing in the game, right? I'll actually say, because of the economy. So try to keep this pretty high is the most important, I think, because it gives you, over time, it allows you to get more money. And then when you have money on your time, you could put that in the military and goods. So keep that good. And goods, of course, is for population. So I'm gonna leave these like this. Alright, the next thing you want to worry about is tech points. I didn't talk about tech yet, but let's talk about this, tech points. This gives you small bonuses without having to spend money, so you can improve population growth, economy, income, production, administration, military, your research. So with those bonuses put in this country, you're going to be a bit stronger. Let's not talk about research because I skipped it. Research is pretty important. The more research you have, the more points, the tech points I just showed you, you get more of them if you put more money into research. Not only do you get more research points, your military also becomes stronger because you have more advanced troops. And not only that, you get tech points that you have abilities with tech that you would normally not have. Like if you would like to colonize the New World, you need better technology. Alright, after we're talking about technology, also to note, technology is actually the most expensive thing. Pretty sure it's like extremely expensive. So usually. Secondly, diplomacy. Diplomacy is really important in this game. Really important. So, first things first is your self-diplomacy. You could form nations if you're able to. Technology points to show. Vassals, if you have vassals, you can get vassals by declaring war and conquering other countries, of course. Release a vassal if you want to release them. I don't know why you would, but. And then move capital, which if you want to move it to someplace different, you can. Change type of government if you want to do one of these governments. Interesting. And you could take and repay loans. You should take loans, and maybe if you're in war, if you need them. They're pretty useful, then you repay them. I don't think loans are really bad in this game, so you probably could use them if you're in war. Alright, next is the lighter green the country, the more they like you. The more dark, the more they hate you. Let's focus on diplomacy now. So, since they like us, they really want an alliance at the start of the game, but if a country really like you, could get an alliance with them, which can be pretty useful if you go in to get in a war from your neighbors declaring war on you, right? You could declare war on them, send ultimatum, which could be pretty effective. There's actually exploit using it, but I'm not covering exploits today. Improved relations is important for forming alliances. You probably would always do it with your neighbors if they don't hate you, of course. It's an insult if you want to declare war on them, reduce their relations, offer alliance, of course. Trade requests can be pretty powerful as their exploits evolve. You could do a lot of things like provinces. You could trade provinces. I don't want to click it. You could also money. You could give money to them and like for something. You could just like strike a deal. But they kind of pretty powerful and broken, unfortunately. So, alright. So let's go back to what was it? We were at. I think we're at trade request, right? So after trade request, non-aggression packs. Do those with your neighbors often if you really need to, and defensive packs as well. They can be pretty useful, pretty useful. So that I can keep your neighbors calm from attacking you. Okay, proclaim independence if you're a subject. If they're a subject, so union, of course, if you want to combine your countries, you have to have really high relation to do that. And then vassalization, they will really take your vassalization. Usually you have to fight for it to vassalize them. Support rebels is pretty useless, I think. I never really seen it be used to that good effect. I used it before and I don't think it's that strong. So don't bother with it really much. You could try it, but I don't know how good you'll have success with that. Send gift, of course, if you want to improve their relation. Offer and ask military access, of course, if you need access, if you're in a war or something. I think that's gonna be it for diplomacy. So I think I covered this decently well, but if you get more investments, you get more money which you could spend in research for better technology, goods, just populations, military. It's just the amount of spend you have in it. So I covered that. So it's like the basic things you need to know. Let's do the buildings. In this game you can also make buildings, so that would be castles. They improve your defense bonus. I think these specifically for provinces, so I think the supply camp is good because it reduces the military upkeep in the province. So if you have a bigger military, it can help you. And in these basic, I think you would read these yourself to find out what they do, like tech and stuff. But I'll talk about these. Festival, this is happiness. Assimilate is important. Is after you conquer, you need to assimilate the provinces, of course. Invest in, that's pretty powerful. Maybe I'll make an in-depth economy guide later. That'll cover the invest feature later. Army is very important, right? So I'll cover military next. So you want to actually declare war on people in this game. You want to have a decent army, right? And you need money to have an army. So I'll be covering army next in this guide. Actually how to move the troops. So I'll be back when I'm ready for war. Alright guys, I'm ready for war now. So what I'm going to do, and what you probably would do, is use the recruit. That's not max in every province, I'm just gonna get a decent amount, so let me change the map mode so I can see. So I put troops here, put troops here. Like, there's a limit to turn, so troops here. What I'm doing is I'm just putting troops in every one of these provinces. And the thing about declaring war is enemies could time skip behind provinces, so sometimes I just want to put them in this reinforcement like that. If you want to really guarantee that they don't become annoying, because sometimes if they get around, they can just go inside your country and just spread out and just carpet siege, which is a really annoying thing. So make sure you have enough troops. Alright, so let's start by declaring the first war. Declare war, there it is. Yeah, hello rest of it. So you wanna go in here like this. Let's go all out in. Let's see how this works out. High risk strategy, going all in. Good thing we have troops back here, so they won't really be able to wreak havoc down there. That's why I like to keep troops. So let's move half these guys in. Move half these guys in. Move half these to reinforce it, and then send these guys here because nobody's really gonna be here, but they can go here. So. And make sure, I forgot to use this guy to attack, but I could have do a one turn earlier, so make sure you maximize the most out of your turn. Split these guys, go up here, and then use these guys to go here. This should be done in the end of them. This is the end of them. Should be. There. See, they did the annoying thing I talk about. They went back, see? So this, if they do this, just do something like this, like send some here, some here. I don't know why it just did that, but. So send them here, some here since I have some here. I'm gonna send them here, and you wanna just kinda surround it, so I'm gonna send some here. And this is like the most effective strategy for preventing them from just carpet sieging all around and getting behind your defense. But that's a successful war. I don't know why it does that. So, but let's go here because I keep forgetting about this province they have here. Well, let's take it. Gibraltar. Easy peasy war. Alright, peace offer. Let's take this. Take everything usually in a peace offer. You can also do like vassalize if you really want to, but let's take. Alright, that's a war done. So we got Spain with Gibraltar. Keep in mind now, look at this, an interesting thing is I'm losing money a month because my army's too big. So what I want to do is just disband our armies. Some of them, not all of them. Like that. It should be positive. And then after you're done, we'll assimilate the provinces. Bam, 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 bam. And you should get assimilation over time. And that's how you do war in the game. Hope it was helpful. And I think that's about all I need to cover. So usually when you're playing the game, just keep your soldiers on your enemy's provinces in case they attack. You have some soldiers already there. Also build forts on them as well. Like if you want, like castle to increase defensiveness, like that. But that's mainly all I wanted to cover. When not at war, you can focus on investing and building towers in the provinces. But make sure you have enough money, a budget. Don't spend all the money on this so you don't have any building money for buildings or anything. So just keep a balance. You should have a decent time playing the game. I think that's about it I needed to cover. Alright then. See you guys then.